The girls in conservative media are fighting again, y'all. They are fighting, and they're having a rough time, if I'm being honest with you. So here's Steven Crowder, and he's going to come out. Now, this is seemingly unprompted because he's really responding to Candace Owens, but this thing from Candace Owens came out months ago, but he felt the need now to address it. So let's listen. I'll react, and I'll show you what Candace does. What we have here is Steven Crowder raising the stakes, and then Candace re-raising. This is really something to see.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible. But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless.
His kids are like babies. And I don't think anybody was blaming your kids anyway. So this is a very strange direction to take this. Now, by the way, just based off his implications so far to this point, it seems like he's against no-fault divorce. It seems like he's against one person being like, I don't want to do this anymore, and being able to get out of the marriage. That's certainly the implication of the stuff he's saying, which is kind of a crackpot position, right? You want to force your wife to stay in a marriage she doesn't want to be in? Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I'm being unfair, but the implication certainly seems like in the state of Texas, they allow this nonsense. It's crazy, man.
Without fault. And so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Steven purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Oh, my children have a right to privacy.
Don't. He's trying to like hide behind his children here. Dude, this has nothing to do with your kids in any way, shape, or form. As much as I hate Candace Owens, this had nothing to do with it. Okay, remember the chain of events. Steven Crowder secretly recorded a phone call between the head of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, and himself. The Daily Wire had offered Steven Crowder a $50 million contract. Then he went on air and virtue signaled and acted like it was indentured servitude and it's an exploitative contract. And so he started the internet drama. And Daily Wire and Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, all these people were just responding to what he started. And look, this thing from Candace, I mean, it's a shot across the bow, but is it not fair game? If you're the one who wants to air the dirty laundry, you're the one who wants to make a mountain out of a molehill, you're the one who wants to act like a $50 million contract is exploitative, well, two can play that low game is what Candace is doing here. She's saying, you got secrets, dog, and maybe we know these secrets. Now, I'm not going to say anything, but maybe you back the hell off is basically what she's saying. Now, you could argue that's in poor taste or whatever, but the idea is extortion. It's extortion. Nah, man. Nonsense.
Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled...
What does this have to do with your children in harm's way? Why do you keep bringing up your children? Why are you keeping... Nobody's bringing up your children. You are bringing up your children. You are bringing up your children. You know how many people, well-known people, their divorces have gotten out in the media and has nothing to do whatsoever with the children? Is it damaging the children when, I don't know, TMZ or one of these other, like, low-tier magazines, entertainment magazines, reports on a divorce between, I don't know, Tiger Woods and his wife or some other celebrity and their wife? Why do you keep bringing up your children, bro? I don't understand why you keep bringing up your children.
Conservatives and allies... Well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues. And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word and used discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple. I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of
He was so close to doing a little bit of self-reflection, and it was just like, man, the main issue is bitches be tripping, dog. I deserve responsibility because my host stepped out of line, bro. Oh, this is great. This is amazing.
Thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children. And I will say that what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation.
Man, if internet drama is not in the interest of your children, you sure messed up by starting the internet drama, which is undeniable that you did it because you were offered a $50 million contract and they were like, oh, this is absurd. By the way, it's hilarious because I'm in media, right? I'm in media. And of course, I'm on the lefty side, not the right-wing side, but like the idea that somebody in left media would be, given a contract worth $50 million and then they would like melt down over it and act like, oh, exploitative. Is hilarious. By the way, if that's exploitative, it's amazing that Steven Crowder is as right-wing as he is, because then a $60,000 contract to do construction work without union protection, that has got to be exploitative, right? But no, he's cool with that. He's anti-union. He's cool with that. But a $50 million contract? Oh, how dare you?
Certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns or dragging their father or mother, and I can't be clear on that enough, or their mother through the mud. And to anyone who tries it, I'm no longer going to pacify, capitulate, or sidestep because I love them a whole lot more than I love you. And I will.
So what are you doing, though? Are you, like, you're not going to pacify or capitulate. So what does that mean? If people bring up stuff that's about you, are you going to sue them? What happened to the free speech position, right? People are allowed to say whatever the hell they want to say as long as they're not physically hurting anybody else, as long as it's not a direct threat of violence. Are you saying if you talk about my family life or whatever dirt there is in my marriage that you're going to, sue people? That is deeply, deeply anti-free speech. I mean, it seems like his argument is, hey, don't keep digging. Please don't keep digging. Please don't keep digging. Maybe I'll sue if you keep digging. Well, what are you hiding? So Candace Owens sees this and, she's not one to hold back. She is not one to hold back. She goes Insky.
That's it. That's the big scary story. I then went onto my platform and I said, pray for Steven Crowder, honestly, because that's what he needs. He needs a prayer. And apparently nobody's answering those prayers right now because he's still acting erratic. He's now upping the ante and suggesting that I extorted him. I will not take that lightly, okay? I am not Hillary Crowder. I am not anybody in his family. I am not going to take somebody going onto his platform and alleging that I either harassed, threatened, or did anything that would put his children at risk. That is very serious stuff that he is saying. And so what I did this morning after this clip was sent to me is I contacted a defamation lawyer, and I am sending Steven Crowder a cease and desist. And I'm going to demand a full-throated retraction to the idea that Candace Owens threatened him or extorted him.
I imagine Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring watching this like, oh, God, oh, no. Oh, everybody stop talking. Please, for the love of God. Candace, reel it in. Reel it in, Candace. Oh, my God. So, in other words, Crowder threatens a bogus lawsuit. And then Candace Owens reacts by, I'll do my own bogus lawsuit. Oh, yeah? You want to say I extorted you? Well, I'm going to say you defamed me. There was no extortion. There was no defamation on either side. You're just two petty little drama mongers drama mongering. That's what's going on right now. Oh, man. She's not done.
Owens threatened him or extorted him. And not that I simply did a little math. 1 + 1 = 2. A crazy man doing these sorts of things to his friends obviously means that something is going on personally. Honestly, this time, I'm not even going to suggest that anybody should pray for him. I am so deeply troubled by the idea that he is trying to insert me into this narrative pertaining to his divorce. I'm frankly angry about this. So I'm going to hope that he does the right thing, okay? That he does another one of his live feeds on the exact same platform and via the exact same medium and offers me an apology and takes back every single word that he says.
We might be having lawsuits flying everywhere, dog. Frivolous lawsuits flying everywhere, might I add. Look, here's my reading of the situation. I think Crowder was trying to, obviously he's trying to deflect, right? He's like, don't dig any deeper. You know, there's dirt there. I'm trying to hide it. If you come after me, I'm going to sue you. I'm not going to pacify myself or whatever language he used. But look, he makes it seem like the dirt that Candace was hiding was just the divorce. I don't think that's true. If you go back and look at my original video, I discuss how the speculation is allegedly homeboy is deep in the closet and he espouses this anti-gay, anti-trans type politics, this anti-LGBTQ politics, and low-key, he's repressed, he's in the closet, and people kind of already, like basically Owen Benjamin, who granted is like an alt-right Nazi guy, right? They don't take his word for it at face value, but he talks about how Steven Crowder, he would do shows with Steven Crowder and Steven would make him dress up in like degrading sexualized outfits. There's how many different videos of Steven Crowder dressing up like a woman for just the lulz, bro. I'm just doing a bit, bro. Isn't this wacky? Isn't this crazy? I don't struggle with any sort of feelings that are weird at all, bro. I don't do that. And usually we've seen the studies, we know that people who come from very repressive religious environments who are told this thing is wrong, if they feel that way inside, how does it manifest? It manifests as like vehement bigotry and being anti-gay and being anti-trans or whatever. So I think what Candace was threatening there had nothing to do with the divorce, or maybe the divorce was an ancillary part of it, that she knew the divorce was going on, everybody should pray for Steven, blah, blah, blah. But I think she knows more dirt than that, right? And so for him to go out there and say, oh, you know, hey, I'm going through a divorce. It's my divorce was the dirt, and they were threatening to spill the tea on my divorce, and they better apologize because they're extorting me or whatever. But really, that's a deflection from Steven Crowder from the real dirt, which is what I just referenced, which I think Candace probably knows, Ben Shapiro, other people in the conservative media space probably know, people close to Steven Crowder probably know. He probably tries to hide it from absolutely everybody, but It's pretty clear, right? And so I think that was the actual dirt. And so now here comes Candace Owens, like a bull in a china shop. And she's basically like, I didn't extort you, number one. Number two, well, maybe I'll sue your ass unless you retract every word you said. Because keep it real, guys. If indeed it is true, right? If the speculation, the dirt, the deeper dirt on Steven Crowder is true, then Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, and Candace Owens have shown tremendous restraint in not bringing that up and not outing Steven Crowder. Because again, he, I think, very unfairly went after them, claiming a $50 million contract was exploitative or whatever, clearly trying to virtue signal and use it for clout to promote his own brand, right? So if that dirt is true and they know it, which I think is the case, then they've shown tremendous restraint. But now you have basically implied threats of an extortion lawsuit from Steven Crowder. Now you have implied threats of, or just outright threats. She's not implied. She's very forthright with it, of like a defamation lawsuit, sending a cease and desist from Candace Owens. The right is fighting, baby. The right-wing media people are fighting. They are imploding. They are imploding, which, by the way, for a very, very long time, this is not how it worked on the right. The right was generally in lockstep. They kept their eye on the ball. To them, the bad guys are the lefties. Let's beat up on lefties. Let's go after left ideology. Let's be serious here. Let's play this political game and do it right and make sure we can spread our message far and wide and convert as many people as possible. This is how they functioned for a very, very long time. And it was usually the left. That there's always endless infighting on the left, different factions of the left, and people are, I'm real left. No, I'm real left. No, I'm the most pure. No, I'm the most pure. I hate you. You hate him. He hates us. Oh! Everybody acting like childish little high school bitches. Just insufferable bitches. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. Pop a Xanax, pop a Klonopin, lay back, watch TV, clear your head, smoke a joint, whatever you got to do. Everybody relax. It's not that serious, right? Nobody cares. Oh, I'm the most pure. I'm the most pure. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This has been the left for the longest time. But now you see the right infighting is just as bad, if not worse. If not worse. I mean, it'd be a glorious thing if the left, in the face of this example of how not to act, kind of got their shit together and the left stopped all the stupid infighting. That'd be wonderful. That's not going to happen, but it would be a wonderful thing. Because you are way more effective unified. You're way more effective with solidarity. You're way more effective keeping your eye on the ball. And that is not what they're doing. And again, I think this is a stark reminder of how not to act. Because the infighting is petty, ugly, dramatic, gross. But hey, I love it because I don't agree with these people, so rock on. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much. You guys know the deal. Standard shameless plugs here. Everybody click the like button, click the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 2 million subs now, so definitely click it if you're not subscribed yet. And you can listen to the full show on Spotify. We dropped the full audio podcast version on Spotify. You don't have to go video for video like on YouTube. You just click one thing and just let it rock. And support the show on Patreon. Support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And remember, click that bell icon too so you get a notification every single time a video drops. That helps massively. It helps get around the algorithm, which I don't think treats us all that kindly. Anyway, I love you guys very much. I'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.